What's up, folks? Got a Volvo XC70, I want to say. It's got a 2.5 turbo. It's a 5-cylinder. How about that? I rarely ever have to work on Volvos, but here's one today. It came from another shop. Just to give me 3 minutes, I promise you. It came from another shop. This was actually in negotiation for like a full year, trying to discover what was going on with it. But they had it in their possession. Unfortunately, they couldn't fix it, and they actually created problems. So it was the timing that was off. They couldn't never get it right. Luckily, they wound up having a special tool. A year later, me and the customer talk, negotiate on terms. I get in my possession. I got the timing right, so I got that fixed. It had a poor idle. The mass airflow was just going wonky and just crazy. I cleaned the mass airflow sensor in the throttle body. That took care of a lot of the poor idle that it had. And he said it was under power. It do feel like it's a little lethargic, like it doesn't have a lot of boost, a lot of confidence to get up and move. And they have a turbo in the car. Let me show you that. The other shop bought a brand new turbo, but the thing is there's no check engine light for a boost code, so I don't want to change that. So to be honest, if the turbo spools and boost, it just don't make much PSI. It could be several other things, but there's no code in the generic portion of the PCM indicating a problem with underboost conditions. But I will say, when I did do a smoke test, I did discover a small leak down there in the charge pipe hose, and it's primarily due to all the oil that had accumulated. And I wonder if it's because over the years the PCV system oil got or escaped through the charge pipe hose and started to accumulate on the charge pipe, or I thought it could be the power steering pressure line, but that don't seem to be the case. I think it's the first case where just over the years it's accumulated through the turbo and caused it to leak and weaken the hose. So oil and rubber don't go together very well, some rubbers. So what I'm gonna do, since I did smoke test this, I got it kind of halfway out. You and I are going to replace this charge pipe hose. We're gonna, because I want to physically see it myself when we get it out, and then we're just going to see if the boost changes. So from a data aspect, I just took a snapshot when I was driving with about 2,500 RPM. It was making like 2 PSI, because this normally stays stagnant at 14 PSI. That's atmospheric pressure. And then it rose 2 PSI to 16.5, and I have my throttle angle here. So what I'm gonna do when I get this hose replaced, I will be able to just take a small ride and see if it make a big difference. Usually you'll get like boost creep with the type of boost leak that is discovered on this particular car. Something is better than nothing when resolving boost leaks. You'll be surprised, because the turbo is small. Those small, what is it, like 1/30 seconds or whatever, vacuum line, I don't remember the size. Them small vacuum hoses, I mean, something so insignificant under pressure can be a night and day difference when it comes to just power. So let's just see if it at least go up 2 PSI. We'll see. I'm not going to break my neck on trying to get this to have like crazy overwhelming boost, like any other car. We're just going to see what this fixed, because overall it drives fine. This is not a race car, no check engine light. So we're just going to get this replaced, look back at our numbers, see if it made a change, call it a day. So I already have these T25s loose from here and here. I just got to get the charge pipe hose, get that loose, the clamp in the back, get that loose, and that should be a 7mm. I'm gonna work on getting the bottom one. That's the main one. And it should be a 7.2, 7mm also. That joker. And then I should be able to just pull it right on out. So I know I'm gonna fight with that one first. Yeah, I think I'm gonna fight with this one first and get this out. Put that back up there. Oh gosh, that's a really big hole down there. I can feel it now. Man, that's a really nice split. Golly. It's a really big split. I can stick my finger down in there. That's crazy. So yeah, this is gonna be a major leak. I'm surprised it didn't show up like that well on the as far as doing the smoke test. This is really big. I'm gonna try to get, yeah, that's major. I thought it was gonna be something insignificant. I based off the video. There we go. Check this out. Let me get the camera back up. That is crazy. I can stick my middle finger down in there. Look at that split right there. That is crazy. Like I said, when I did a smoke test, it just wasn't that bad. It's just like a little pin size. But being that the rubber was pressed up against itself and it just went out the path of least resistance, it just looked like it was pin size. That's a major boost leak. This car should have plenty of power when I get this put back in there with the new hose. Just put a couple of dots there so it'll just line up, no big deal. But something's better than nothing, so I can kind of get close to it. I know it's not going to be on this hose, but at least the clamp can be in the proper orientation. So we're like facing 90. Facing 90. Well, you know what no, it's fine. That explains a lot why they had such a major power loss. Potentially the poor idle. Well, poor idle will cause that too. This should be fixed like 100% now. I want to put this. When I put it back, I can just angle it in a deeper angle, so I can get something I can tighten this up with more rapid. Put it back in my way so I can tighten this up in a speedy fashion, and then take it on a test drive and see if it has all its 205 horsepower. I don't know how much horsepower this thing's supposed to make. Whatever it is though, it's gonna have all of it back. I got a beautiful shot. Oh. I want to make sure I ain't got it too crazy tight. I don't want it loose neither. Okay, cool. Start up. The idle's way better. That's really good. Now before, like with the AC on, before I cleaned the throttle body and the mass airflow sensor, I had an erratic idle. That explains a lot. Let me get the same. I should have the same PID data pulled up. Yeah, so let's just see. It normally holds at 14 psi, this atmospheric pressure. It's not boost. Look at it, it's going higher now. Let me see if I can slow it down a little bit. I already got on 4 there. Let me enhance this table. Yeah, it wound up going to 22. That's crazy. That's cool. All right, let me take it on the drive, and I might be able to hold the camera just here while I drive, and then we can like look at the boost and kind of get the same throttle position. I'll do it in a safe fashion, don't worry. Just got back off the test drive, and oh, okay, so we got one monitor incomplete. I was trying to see if I could get a drive cycle completed over the course of several days, and I'll make sure there's okay. So there's no code present. Like I was saying, there's no boost code in the generic portion, but when you go to the bidirectional portion, there's a boost code. But on the generic portion, it nearly completed the drive cycle. I can about guarantee you the evap system, since it's the last one to go through, has not been completed yet. And vehicle information, I'll be done. What was it? No, right here. It's right here. It's right here. I should be able to. So on the video, at times it did wind up making what was it, 18 psi. I did see it go up to 20 at some point. Since cleared, I can guarantee you the evap isn't evap. Oh, wait. Yep, evap monitor. Let's use the last one. Let's go to data. So here's the screenshots. And I need to exit out and then go back in. And then it'll have the image saved. I don't know why. There you go. So at times it made up to 19. That's 17 here. The throttle angle, I think, is electronic throttle motor, and I think that value is just a little different from throttle position. It was at 99. I did not have a 99% throttle angle at the time, more like 60%, and I don't know why it's showing 99%. But I did get up to 19 at times to 20. So that boost leak that we saw wound up making a 3 psi change basically. So now it should be making around, where's this right here? Should be making around 20 psi. I'm just assuming. I thought normally, no, I'm sorry, 20 on the scale, but probably 6 pi from the turbo. And you can see here where it's even though I'm holding the throttle, it's creeping and falling off. So it's a possibility the wastegate may have some issues. That green trace right there is going to be our boost, so it'll climb up, peak, and then fall off, and then peak again if I get into it again, which is boost creep, and it's dropping off. So that's usually an indication of another leak somewhere, but I'm not worried about it. The car's satisfied, the owner's going to be satisfied. All the check engine lights are off because he had so many codes, like variating valve timing codes. I mean, he had quite a few things, timing, like a lot of timing codes and stuff. I don't know if I have that saved in here or not. Yeah, I'm not gonna have it saved. Well, here's, a matter of fact, here's the Volvo right here. Yep, so here's the codes that the turbo had. Turbo control signal high, and no voltage supply, nope. Engine control monitors, general. That's weird. I should have another one. Volvo. No. Couldn't find any codes that would normally be in this vehicle when I first got it, because I should have took screenshots. But here's the mass airflow when I first got it. I mean, it was just idle. This is just regular idle, and then the mass airflow would just go haywire, and that's when I wound up cleaning it, and it stabilized it so much better. It ran so bad originally when I first got it, after I fixed the timing too. So I had that, and I had like I say, another code that was in the system. Where's that? It was, yeah, it was that turbo signal too high. That's irrelevant. So that wasn't that important. Anyway, the customer's gonna be happy. I'm happy that the drive cycle was nearly complete. No check engine lights. It came from another shop with a host of problems. I got all that stuff fixed, and I wish I would have documented, but unfortunately this is my first time ever dealing with this particular issue on this car. It's a Volvo. I don't get a lot of these, and I get a lot of cases where they're complex, and it's like my first time going through it, and I need to be hyper focused on what I'm dealing with. So that's why I didn't document it. Assuming that I do get another one, it will definitely get documented, but I went and documented the easiest thing, which was a boost leak. No big deal, because I kind of already predetermined that. Other than that, if anything happened, I'll definitely update. I'm gonna call the shop, let them know everything I discovered, so they'll be up to date of what's going on with the vehicle that they had issues with. I don't like to get vehicles from other shops and not tell them what had happened. As long as they're informed, we all can be informed, and we can improve together and keep this team effort of fixing cars in our network. So hey, if anything happened, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, head over to some word. See you next one.